back at base and focus shifts to England's Euros semi-final against Denmark. After their 4-0 thrashing of Ukraine, Gareth Southgate's squad is already gearing up for the return to Wembley.
This was the best performance. Harry Kane is now back to his old self scoring goals, which is good because, of course, we've now got 2 more games to go. But we have to look at the Danes and take that game one game at a time, as they say, and hopefully we can get through.
It's coming, football's coming home.
With a performance to inspire a generation, England fans are now daring to dream of a slice of Euros history. Also tonight, ministers give the strongest hint yet that face masks will no longer be mandatory on so-called Freedom Day. And
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't.
the nation says thank you to the NHS on the eve of its 73rd birthday.
This is ITV News with Lucrezia Millarini.
Good evening. England's footballers are back at their team base in Staffordshire and already preparing for the next big Euros test, the semi-final against Denmark. After last night's 4-0 win over Ukraine in Rome, Gareth Southgate's squad are the bookies' favourite for Wednesday's match. They'll once again have the support of the home crowd, with 60,000 fans allowed at Wembley. If they win, they'd face either Italy or Spain in the final. But as the expectation of a nation builds, our sports editor Steve Scott reports on an England side firmly focused on taking it one game at a time.
Rarely do England fans experience what they watched last night, a largely anxiety-free 90 minutes of knockout football. A team that seems to improve with every game, carving out a new piece of history on an almost daily basis.
For the semi-final, we have to not be complacent. And to get to the final, we have to approach the game in the same manner that we approached the Germany game and the Ukraine game. Because, of course, we will be favourites. We're at home and we're playing against a team who we are expected to beat. So we have to approach it in the right manner.
When England beat Germany, there were 45,000 there to witness it. This Wednesday, 20,000 more fans will be allowed into Wembley, the biggest sporting crowd here since the start of the pandemic. Those who gambled that England would make it this far are now the envy of supporters everywhere, holding the most sought-after e-ticket there is right now.
It's great to be going. We bought the tickets kind of on a hope and a prayer, and it's crazy that it's actually arrived.
It would have been an amazing experience. Even if England weren't in it, it will be an amazing experience. Even if England don't win, and if England do win, it will be probably the best day of our lives.
Surfing through to the last 4 on a wave of Christian Eriksen emotion. Denmark are dangerous opponents who actually beat England in the most recent competitive meeting at Wembley in October last year. While the rest of the country quite understandably gets carried away, one of the most vital jobs for the players over the next few days is to stay grounded. For all their undoubted success so far, to lose a semi-final at Wembley would feel like the opportunity of a lifetime missed. Complacency, though, is not something Gareth Southgate will allow to creep into his squad. Not that the players have shown a hint of it to date. They now wear the label of favourites and all know that just one more good performance takes them and England to a first ever European Championships final. Steve Scott, ITV News, St George's Park.
Now, reaching the semi-final equals England's best result in the European Championship since that famous Southgate missed penalty of Euro 96. 25 years on, after reaching the semi-finals at the World Cup in 2018, many England fans are already daring to believe that this could be their tournament. Sergio Carrier reports.
It's coming home! It's coming home! It's coming! Football's coming home!
For these youth players, not even a Sunday morning downpour could rain on England's parade. Spirits still lifted after last night's emphatic win over Ukraine. These playing fields of North London in the shadow of Tottenham's ground in White Hart Lane. No wonder Harry Kane was the name on most lips here, but so too was Raheem Sterling.
You know, it means I can make it too because, you know, I know they haven't come up with a lot, you know. So it means I can make it as well.
Do you think we can do it, and how would you feel if we did?
I think we can do it. We can win it. I'd be so excited. I'd be full of joy. I don't know how to explain it. That's how much it would mean to me.
It'd be inspirational because I think I can do this as well.
Ian Marshall is the chairman of Ridgeway Rovers, the youth club where it all began for Harry Kane, where the coaches moulded a young Kane, seen here on the top left. How proud are you of Harry Kane?
We're so proud as a club, and the fact that I could end up being a chairman of a club that produced a captain of England that may bring silverware back home is fantastic, and that'll be a dream come true it'd be a dream come true for everybody, but for a chairman of a club where he played as a kid, fantastic, what can I say?
Of course, there's still the small matter of beating Denmark. The Roper family have tickets for the game at Wembley on Wednesday night, but loyalties are split. Dad Mark is rooting for England, Mum Louise, who's Danish, for the opposition. And the kids?
Underdog Denmark, yeah, they're 10 times smaller, but you know what, if they've got this far, they can get further.
Yeah, Denmark all the way, really. Yeah, I'm
a bit more split than my sisters, I think. I'm happy one of them's going to make it to the final at least.
But for most of the country at least, England's triumphant performance is bringing a nation together in joy, jubilation and hope they could go all the way. Sejal Karia, ITV News.
Well, our sports editor Steve Scott joins us now. Steve, excitement building, but of course with that comes added pressure.
Yes, Lucrezia, absolutely no question about that. Remember, Gareth Southgate has led an England team to a semi-final in a major tournament. That was the World Cup in Russia 3 years ago when England lost to Croatia. Now, many of the squads who were there then, who are here now, were in that team. They experienced that. They experienced that defeat, and they obviously want to go one better. England have never been to the final of the European Championships, and the last final in a major tournament they were in, well, of course, that's 1966. So there's the significance of this game, and that is where the pressure comes from. Now, a lot of people, of course, asking today, well, can I get to Wembley? Can I watch this momentous occasion? Well, I think the brutal answer is if you haven't got a ticket already, I think you've got no chance. The best advice that anyone can give is to keep hammering away on the UEFA website. It may be that UEFA releases a few tickets between now and the big night, and if you're lucky enough to be online when they do, then you might get a ticket.
Right, Steve, thank you. And of course, if you can't get a ticket, you can see England versus Denmark right here on ITV and on the ITV Hub on Wednesday night, with coverage starting at 7 p.m. Away from the Euros now, and a government minister has given the strongest hint yet that face masks will no longer be compulsory in England when COVID restrictions are lifted from the 19th of July. Robert Jenrick said today that wearing them should become a matter of personal choice. The Prime Minister is due to update the nation this week on the new rules from so-called Freedom Day. Our political correspondent Hannah Miller has more.
They've become 2021's must-have accessory, but a face mask's about to go out of fashion. The government suggesting they won't be needed in shops and public transport after July the 19th.
There won't be legal restrictions, the state won't be telling you what to do, but you will want to exercise a degree of personal responsibility and judgment. So different people will come to different conclusions on things like masks, for example.
But Labour's Shadow Chancellor says she'll keep wearing one until it's clear they're no longer needed.
We've seen briefings this weekend from ministers, but what we haven't seen is the evidence on which these decisions are being made. We want the restrictions to be lifted, but it's got to be done in a way that is secure and won't have to be reversed in just a few weeks' time.
The new health secretary's brought with him a new argument, pointing to mental health and domestic abuse as he writes that opening up the economy will benefit our health as well. On his desk is data showing just under 25,000 cases yesterday, but hospital admissions much lower, around 360 per day. Still, many shoppers don't seem totally sold on the idea of ditching the mask.
I think I'd still wear mine. I'm still a bit cautious of other people.
I think I'd wait till I have my second jab.
If I went on the tube or the buses, I think I'd want to, just for my own safety.
Happy to throw them in the bin. Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
And while social distancing is likely to also be scrapped, some less demanding COVID rituals should perhaps be here to stay.
There are some habits we've all developed during the pandemic that it would be really good to keep on after the pandemic. So washing hands more frequently. If you're feeling ill, don't go into work and spread infections. Each winter, of course, we get lots of respiratory chest infections, flu being perhaps the best example. And the more we can do around good hygiene and good infection control, the less we will see.
While we've all got used to seeing streets like this, as the focus shifts to how best to live with the virus, what normal life looks like could soon change again.
Well, Hannah is here now. So, Hannah, how soon will we get clarity on the next steps?
Well, we understand that an announcement is imminent, Lucrezia, and you would expect to hear from the Prime Minister on something of this magnitude. It's not just masks and social distancing. Of course, there are still questions about COVID certificates, about guidance from working from home. These are the kind of changes that businesses can't make overnight. And with Freedom Day, we hope just 2 weeks away now, the government needs to be seen to be making these announcements about what the vision of the future is. There is a sense, though, that this may not be entirely in the government's gift. They are talking very much about personal responsibility. You heard there people making their own decisions about face masks, and perhaps the decisions that we all make now in July 2021 won't be exactly the ones we would have made before.
All right, Hannah, thank you. Pope Francis has been taken to hospital for what the Vatican described as a scheduled surgery on his colon. The 84-year-old has been suffering from a condition that can cause recurring abdominal pain. It is the first time he's required hospital treatment since his election 8 years ago. Back here, John Lewis has announced it plans to turn some of its stores into rental properties. It's aiming to create 10,000 homes, ranging from studio flats to houses. Residents will have the option of renting a John Lewis home, with it furnished with the department store's own furniture. After an incredibly tough year, people across the country have been taking time today to say thank you. A series of events have taken place to allow people to express their gratitude to NHS staff and key workers or anyone who has personally helped them through the pandemic. Helen Keenan reports.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow.
Celebrating the start of the NHS at a COVID vaccination centre with a thank you for 73 years of healthcare.
Don't stop.
Oh, it's just fantastic. It just lifts the morale for everybody.
We should be really proud, I think, as a country, how we've all pulled together as a nation.
Oh, it means a lot. You know, it's nice to be appreciated. Nice to know that the public, thinks about us.
And it made you want to come back into nursing?
Yes, I'm a retired nurse and I've come back into nursing, to help during the pandemic.
Don't stop.
Their performance, a rendition of a charity single, released as part of a national thank you day for the NHS and everyone who has helped in the pandemic. Among the famous faces giving thanks today is Prince Charles.
I found myself marvelling.
With a broadcast on hospital radio to honour the health service launched the same year he was born.
I've been profoundly impressed by the dedication shown by our wonderful NH staff and volunteers.
And revealed his favourite songs as part of the special programme.
This song, Giving Up, Giving In, is one of my favourites, and long ago used to provide me with an irresistible urge to get up and dance.
No doubt the Prince will hope the public will have that same irresistible urge to show support for the NHS on its official 73rd birthday tomorrow, when the thank yous will continue, along with the staff's hard work. Helen Keenan, ITV News.
Well, there will be lots more thank yous, won't there? That is it for now. I will be back with the late news at 10 o'clock. Until then, enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye for now.